Fox 13 Memphis's Rosalind Freeman has the latest.
Rising waters turn streets into rivers and neighborhoods into lakes. Rescue teams in West Memphis are using boats to reach people stranded inside their homes. City leaders say they have a pre-incident action plan that includes a team effort from first responders to volunteers, all working together to help their neighbors. The flooding is widespread, forcing families out of their homes into emergency shelters like the Roberta Jackson Neighborhood Center.
Minivan driver plowing into a busy Los Angeles crowd Sunday afternoon, injuring at least 9 people, including 3 kids. Authorities investigating the incident. America's listening to Fox News.
Connect to Fox News Audio on the Fox News app. Listen to hear your favorite hosts like Brian Kilmeade, Jimmy Fallon, and Guy Benson standing up for what's right, live and via podcast. Just click listen, then swipe right and hear the latest news updates on your time. And scroll down to hear the latest podcasts from Fox News. And it's even easier to listen in the car with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Get programming alerts and notifications. Fox News Audio is on the Fox News app. The Voices America trusts. Download it now. From the Fox News Podcasts Network.
I'm Ben Domenech, Fox News contributor and editor of the Transom.com daily newsletter, and I'm inviting you to join a conversation every week with the smartest thinkers out there about the issues Americans face and where we're going as a nation. This show will feature deep dive interviews with newsmakers and some of your favorite Fox News analysts. I hope you'll join me as we dive into the fray. It's the Ben Domenech Podcast.
Subscribe and listen now by going to foxnewspodcasts.com or wherever you download podcasts.
Another child has died from measles in Texas. HHS Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. was there Sunday warning parents to get their kids vaccinated.
Health and Human Services Secretary RFK Jr. said on social media he's in Texas to comfort the families of 2 children in the state who have died from measles. He said there are 642 confirmed cases of measles across 22 states. Kennedy was a vaccine skeptic in the past, but in a post on X, he said the most effective way to prevent the spread of measles is the MMR vaccine. MMR is the measles, mumps, and rubella vaccine. Republican Senator Bill Cassidy of Louisiana, who's also a doctor, posted everyone should be vaccinated. Jill Nato, Fox News.
Fighting continues to intensify between Israel and Hamas. Fox's Trey Yingst reports.
Up to 10 rockets were launched by Hamas from Gaza towards southern Israel, sending hundreds of thousands of people to bomb shelters. Some of those rockets were intercepted by Israel's missile defense system, the Iron Dome, others slamming into the ground below. Israeli forces have continued their bombardment of the Gaza Strip, looking to put new pressure on Hamas with negotiations to free the remaining 59 hostages stalled. Ground operations are also advancing with continuing evacuation orders for Palestinian civilians. At a demonstration overnight against the government, there were new calls for a ceasefire and diplomatic solution to reunite Israeli families.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu will visit the White House for talks today. And Ukraine's economy minister telling the Associated Press it plans to send a delegation to Washington this week for talks on a new draft of a proposed mineral deal with the U.S. Talks stalled earlier this year after a contentious Oval Office meeting between President Trump and Ukrainian President Zelensky. Some Ukrainian lawmakers concerned that it could undermine Kyiv's control over its natural resources. I'm Sue Guzman. This is Fox News.
KFC's Lent menu is filled with so many seafood options, it's enough to keep you going for the entire Lenten season. They're all here. Popcorn shrimp, fish wraps, fish fillets, shrimp and crab Killigan wraps, and our famous KFC shrimp burger. Mix and match chicken and fish in both 6 and 12-piece family meals with sides and biscuits. And for dessert, you have to try my apple pie poppers. KFC's Lent menu is available for a limited time at all KFC restaurants and for delivery at kfcguam.com or WhatsApp 300-3278. KFC, it's finger-licking good for Lent.
Hafaday Guam, it's time to get crazy for Koku. The Koku Road Race, that is. Join in the action on Sunday, April 13th at the Ipao Beach Governor Joseph Flores Memorial Park and register now at visitguam.com for the half marathon or 4-person 5K Ekiden relay. High schoolers, bring your A game because we've added a special Ekiden High School category. Outrun the competition and win a cash prize for your school. It's not just a run, it's a weekend of fun brought to you by the Guam Visitors Bureau.
At APL, their expertise and extensive network can help you grow your business and reach out to more global markets. As a responsible carrier, APL is also committed to a sustainable future, whether it's protecting the environment or investing their efforts in giving back to the community. APL's dedicated team in Guam and the U.S. mainland are here to support you. Call 588-4651 or visit apl.com.
Hi, this is Jerry Roberts. What's happening in the workplace? What about your job and career? What ideas will find their way into your world? That's what you get with the Extra Point every day on The Ray Gibson Show here on 93.3 FM. Sometimes it's about what's in the news, or working relationships, or how to get further and do better. I try to make it interesting, inspiring, and hopefully sneak a little fun in too. Be a part of it. 7:25 weekday mornings. The Extra Point, brought to you by First Hawaiian Bank.
$1,807 hours. It is time for Veterans with Benefits with your hosts, Anthony Tyron and Corinna Ballista.
Half a day. Welcome back. You're listening to us on The Point. You can call into 671-888-TALK on 93.3. As always, we're going to thank our sponsors, Ambrose Inc., HFMC, Hebzibah Family Medical Clinic, American Legion Post 1. Visit them every second Saturday for Steak Day, Master Blasters for all your blasting needs. 11Z's. I think I got the, what's it called? Matcha. Dirty matcha espresso. 2 shots. Supposed to have 3, but whew, that's a lot. Right behind us, they offer military discount and veteran discount, 11%. Domino's Pizza.
Yay, Dane.
Yay, Dane. All right. And then JTC Services, the Most Services, and the veteran nonprofit group HMI. Woo.
All right.
All right. So my favorite part, Veteran of the Week. So Veteran of the Week is Donald R. Flickinger, Jr. He is a proud U.S. Army veteran and lifelong public servant. He began his military journey in 1982, enlisting in the 368th Military Police Company of the U.S. Army Reserve, following in the footsteps of his father, a U.S. Navy Marine Corpsman, a U.S. Navy Corpsman who served 2 tours in Vietnam. In January 1991, Donald was deployed in support of Operation Desert Shield, Desert Storm, where he served with honor and dedication. During the deployment, he was assigned to process enemy prisoners of war and provide security at holding camps, contributing to one of the most significant military operations of the modern era. He returned home shortly before Mother's Day in 1991 and continued his service in the reserves, ultimately achieving the rank of Staff Sergeant. After 3 decades of military service, Donald retired in 2015 with an honorable discharge due to deployment-related service-connected injuries. In addition to his military service, Donald joined the Guam Police Department in 1984, where he continues to serve his community with the same integrity and commitment he demonstrated in uniform. His dual service, both in the military and in law enforcement, reflects a lifelong dedication to the protection and well-being of his island and country. Although he does not currently have any photos in uniform to share as of the showtime, Donald proudly affirms his service to the United States and the island of Guam and states that he would do it all over again without hesitation. Let us thank him for his service. Oh, you're showing it on air? Let us thank him for his service, Donald Flickinger. All right. Veteran of the Week.
Be sure you go get your pizza. If you don't get your pizza, give it to me. I'll eat it. I'll find people to eat it.
Yes, you say that every week. Dane, are you listening? Anthony needs his own pizza.
And Dane will take good care of you. Thank you, Dane, and thank you to Domino's for always being there for our veterans and the Veteran of the Week.
Oh, yes. And then Anthony now is going to read the tip of the week or question of the week. Every week we deal with veterans. This is the question, the most recent one that we had.
So get a private nexus letter, the most common route. If you disagree with the VA's decision, the most direct way to get a second opinion is to obtain a nexus letter from a qualified private healthcare provider. A strong nexus letter should be written by a licensed doctor or specialist. Use the phrase "at least as likely as not" when describing the service connection. Include detailed rationale linking your current diagnosis to service or a service-connected condition. Reference your medical history, relevant service records, and applicable medical research or clinical knowledge. Why it's helpful: counters a negative or inadequate VA CNP opinion, helps fill in gaps when the VA says not enough evidence, shows the VA that a competent, independent provider supports your claim. Important: this kind of second opinion is your responsibility to obtain and submit. The VA does not provide private nexus letters. Now, speaking about that, when they say they do not provide private ones, they actually were directed at one point to provide nexus letters. However, they are not providing them, and the CBOC should be able to do that. So if you're listening up there, CBOC, if you got an opportunity to, take care of our veterans, this could be one way to do it, and it's something that our veterans need for their claims. So if you like, you could call in Dr. McDermott and let us know whether or not that directive is still in place. We also have a veteran out there, Mr. Brown, who also has worked that system to receive some help from the CBOC. So if everybody else is able to take advantage of that, we might as well share it to our veterans. Otherwise, if that doesn't exist, you generally would have to pay a doctor for it. And when you pay the doctor for this, it costs stateside anywhere from $2,500 and upwards, depending on what condition they're going to try to do a nexus letter for. And it requires a lot of research into your history and things of that nature. At the moment, Dr. Akoma does nexus letters. We've heard of American Medical Center doing nexus letters, as well as I think Dr. Titano has done them for very few people out there. So these are just folks that are able to do nexus letters. All doctors should be able to do nexus letters for you. So if you have your healthcare provider who's willing to do it for you, I mean, it wouldn't hurt to just ask, because if you don't ask, the answer will always be no. So get your nexus letters from these folks if you can. All right, let me get to the next part. Request an independent medical opinion, IMO, from VA. The VA itself can request an independent medical opinion under 38 CFR subsection 3.328 if the issue is medically complex, the case is unusual or controversial, or there is conflicting medical evidence. How to request this? You can ask for an IMO during the appeals process or when submitting a supplemental claim, VA Form 20-0995. In your written statement, explain that you disagree with the CMP examiner's findings, you believe the condition warrants further expert review, you're requesting an independent medical opinion under 38 CFR subsection 3.328 due to the complex or conflicting nature of the case. Note, the VA is not required to provide an IMO, independent medical opinion, but if your claim involves rare or complex medical issues, they may approve it. So once again, if you don't ask, the answer is always going to be no. So you're going to have to ask. Okay. Again, with an independent medical opinion, you can get that through your healthcare provider. Again, all you got to do is ask and let them provide that for you. Okay.
All done with the question?
So far, so good.
All right. Did you want to say hello?
Yes, I want to say hello to Knox and Aaliyah, and To My Mom.
All right. All right.
So I know we're about to get started and we got someone on the phone.
We do.
But before we do that, maybe we'll pay a little respect to one of our fallen here at the radio station, Mr. Robert Klitsky.
Yes.
Right? We bumped into him quite a bit when he used to be on the show. He was on before we came on, right? So
We
you
would
know.
switch over. We would do the
Yes.
transition.
Yeah, and then Jose did it for a little bit too, right? But yeah, so he's a veteran also,
Yes.
and we did talk to him a little bit about that. He's a Marine. We're not sure how far he got with his claim or whether he ever did it. We did bring it up to him,
A few times, yes.
and like all Marines, they are very tough. So, you know, we'll meet up again with him sometime up there in the skies.
Yes.
Someday. Anything you want to say about that?
No, just that, you know, I was reminded, you know, a few things that, you know, I would listen to his, you know, show, right? Because he was on every day. And, you know, of course, our radio is always on 93.3 in the car. So, you know, just some of his things, you know, he would tell a joke and, you know, but he wouldn't laugh. But it was a joke. And I was like, ha, you know, and I would laugh. I'm like, hey, that was a joke. But, you know.
Yeah, he was a wealth
Great
of
show.
knowledge,
He
you
did a
know,
great
and
job.
yeah, I think it'll be kind of tough to fill his shoes here. And I think Jose had a hard time with that too. So our condolences to the family.
Yes. And then before we get the caller, we'll just do a little recap of last week.
Go ahead, man.
So last week we had on Mr. Rob Jackson. So he launched his podcast like he said he would. So it's called Innovate, the Innovate podcast. I think he sent it to us. Thank you. Thank you, Rob. And then...
he had his first guest on.
yes.
Who was that?
Charlie Hermosa.
Charlie? Who's Charlie?
Charlie Hermosa.
And yes, so yeah, Charlie was on there, and what you call it? What was I gonna say? Yeah, he was the first guest. Oh, and towards the end, the two of them finally mentioned that they were veterans.
Oh, did they?
Yes, they were talking.
They should have led with that.
Well, they were
They should
talking
have
all
led
the
with
tech
that.
stuff and everything, and
They should
it
have
was
led
pretty
with
good.
it.
So congratulations on that, Rob, and Charlie too. Those are some of our veteran notables out there that are doing a lot of moving and shaking as well. So
Yes.
we wish them well on their endeavors, and you know they're veterans out there. So.
And then, of course, last week we were also waiting to see if they found the 4 that were missing in that training accident
Yes.
from Georgia, and it was confirmed that we did lose Mr. Taitsino.
Yes.
Dante Taitsino. So condolences to his family. May he rest in peace. And then I do want to read the comments online. Vincent Santos, half a day, everyone. Brennan Fausto, good evening, veteran warfighters. Narina Tyron, hi, Papa.
Hello.
Monica Thomas, hi, Karina and Tony. Hey, Monica.
Hello.
And then Lauren Michelle, hi, Karina. Hello, Lauren.
Oh, no hi to me, huh? Wow.
Well, she was my
I know.
LuLaRoe customer. And she follows Ray. And I think Lauren, I think you guys run 5Ks together. Yes, that's how I know. Lauren knows Ray. And then Edward Buendicho.
Oh, yes.
Half a day.
Half a day.
All right. We ready to take the call?
Yes.
I think I did most of the things. If I forget anything, I will bring it up after break.
Okay, are we ready?
Yes.
Here we go. Hello, caller. Can you hear us?
Can you hear me?
Oh, I know this voice.
Who do we have?
How's the day and good evening. Many of God's blessings to all of you and to the hosts for this evening on Guest Vet Talk. I want to say thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak this evening. This is Tina Muñoz Barnes, your senator of the 38th Guam Legislature.
Half a day. Welcome. Thanks for calling in. And it's always good to have you on. We were thinking a little bit about how what you're doing plays a role in all the things that happen for our veterans, and you've been quite active in trying to help all the things that need to happen here on our island with the veterans, and we really appreciate that help. And you're still in the legislature, and you have to work around the new majority, but at the same time, that shouldn't remove the fact that there are things that need to get done.
Yes, that's right. And first, I want to say thank you both for giving me this opportunity, and to all the veterans out there, the warmest half a day. But before I even start, thank you for recognizing one of our veterans, former senator to me, Robert Klitsky, who was a former boss of mine many, many decades ago. I want to say in the late 70s, early 80s. He was my boss at Brooks and Klitsky. I worked for him for a couple of years, and then in the 27th Guam legislature, that was in 2003, I think. He was my colleague in the 27th Guam legislature, and I want to extend my condolences to the family, to Auntie Lou, to Michelle, who's one grade above me, and her family. I know that her son works with our family, but it's just really hard, right, when our veterans leave us, and they too have left lasting impressions to try and help veterans here on Guam. He had his talk show, and he's going to be missed. I know that he has his state funeral next week, if I'm not mistaken, and I want to thank Speaker Frank Blas for literally taking the time so that we can pay tribute to him as a former colleague. But he was a veteran, and he also was a teacher for many years, and those might remember him at GW. So my condolences to Auntie Lou and Michelle and the rest of the family on his passing, and we pray that the angels of paradise take him to the eternal kingdom of heaven, right?
Yes.
So thank you for letting me say that. But I just stepped out of class for a moment. I was given permission. I'm still here at the university. But I did, and you guys hit on something, right? There and disseminating information, doing follow-ups, and that's exactly what I did. Is there's a new administration in the with Uncle Sam.
Yes.
There's a new legislature. There's a new majority, and what better way to see how I can continue to advocate to help our veterans here? And one that brings to mind is we have to continue to tell the story the same way you guys, every week, every time you get a chance to go on the radio, every time you get to be advocates and talk through, not just through HMI, but everywhere you guys go, all you do is promote and advocate for veterans. So my thought was, well, we needed to retell the story. So what I did was I sent a letter to the relevant congressional committee members to seek for a VA state director and an office here on Guam. And I did that. I did explain why I wanted to do that. I shared with them, with both the Honorable Mike Boss, who's the chairman on the House Committee on Veterans Affairs, U.S. House of Representatives, and also to the Honorable John Judge Carter, who is the chairman of the House of Appropriations Subcommittee on Military Construction and Veterans Affairs, U.S. House of Representatives, and literally to seeking support for DVA's autonomy for Guam's veterans. And as I did this letter, I did share it with you guys. I broke it down. I said, I was the former speaker. I'm currently the senator in the 38th Guam legislature. I'm also a member of the DVA Advisory Committee on U.S. Outlying Areas and the freely associated states, but that I wrote my letter as a capacity and as a senator. But I want to also say that, I'm a proud spouse. my late husband, who literally had to work really, really hard to try and get some medical benefits that he wasn't able to be afforded here on Guam because we don't have that kind of service here, the specialty that was needed. I'm a mother of a veteran and active duty Air National Guard. I'm a grandmother. I'm a mother-in-law of veterans, and I have long advocated for veterans on our island, and we need to continue to tell the story. So I wrote a letter to these folks saying, this is who we are. This is what we want to do, is how do we bring the services here to our veterans here on Guam, right? Giving us more autonomy. We say that we have over 24,000 registered veterans here, and that doesn't even include those from our brothers and sisters in the Blue Continent that utilize our services here, right? Whether it be the VHA or the VBA, you know, we need to see how we can advocate for them. And how do we bring that? How do we literally bring that kind of directorship and that office here? Now, so my justification for this letter was, you know, all the DVA, the Department of Veterans Affairs here on Guam report to a third party, and for example, right, CBOC with the good Dr. McDermott, who has done with his staff a lot of work. They provide the medical services for veterans, and they report to the VHIPS, the VAPIHC, based out in Hawaii. The Artesian office also reports to Hawaii, and they deal with the promotion of VA benefits, VA claims, pensions, and et cetera. And while we are asking, you know, for this greater autonomy for the Veterans Association here on Guam, right, entities in Guam, and by having a state director, those decisions would be made through a direct relationship between the Guam office and the DVA, the Department of Veteran Affairs versus a third party set up, which is in other jurisdictions where they also have, the pressing issues of veterans residing in their areas. And, you know, I bring this up in sincerity that, for example, I'm going to say it, that there's more bias for veterans residing in the state of Hawaii versus those residing here on Guam under the current structure that we have with one. And I also wanted to say that this justification for this letter was having that a state director would essentially have an advocate for Guam veterans when it comes to the benefits, when it comes to the claims, when it comes to the adjudication, and of course, et cetera. And having additional staff would assist in executing these services for our veterans, and as they wouldn't have to wait, just like what my husband had to go through, years and months and months and months to wait for decisions to be made in other jurisdictions, which could have done and be worked on directly if it was here. Having a state director would literally support our government offices of VA or whatever local structure the legislature establishes or amends to. And I want to say that as a federal partner with greater autonomy, this would be good for our veterans. I also want to state that a state director would also be able to focus on truly increasing the VHA enrollments, which is critical toward increasing medical services for veterans in Guam. And I want to note that when we had the last meeting, and Tony and Karina, you were there in the December meeting, that was recorded for Guam. What we think should be what was recorded in with Uncle Sam in D.C. is 5,700 plus compared to the 24,000 that we could literally attach to, and as far as our veterans here on our island. So this is really, really key. And if we were to have a state director here, we would have I would say we would have a larger seat at the table within the arena or the matrix of the Department of Veterans Affairs. And, they won't be represented by another jurisdiction, which is also tasked with addressing the needs of the veterans residing in their jurisdictions. I gave you that example earlier, and I just want to say from my heart, Tony and Karina and all the veterans that are listening, that remember our beautiful island of Guam. We here have unique needs, and our brothers and sisters in the Blue Continent share a lot of the issues and concerns, and this area, our island, our beautiful island of Guam, could be that leadership, that office of direct leadership, if the VA were to give us a state director and an office with the autonomy, not just for show, but actual work being done here, actual approvals being done here, actual services. And please know that all the work that's being here today, with CBOC and everything, with Dr. McDermott, with all of the nonprofit organizations, but I do have a bias. HMI has been out there over and over and over, and I see it, because every time somebody comes into me, I send it out and I said, what way or what better thing can I do than to let's retell the story? There's new leaders in the U.S. House of Representatives. Yep. What can we do to bring it out? And I'd be remiss if I didn't tell you, too, that with that letter and my justification, I CC'd it to all the key support staff that both the Honorable Mike Boast, Chairman for Veterans Affairs, the Committee on Veterans Affairs, and then to also the Honorable Judge Carter, who is the chairman for the Appropriations Subcommittee for the Military Construction and Veterans Affairs. And because, we need to look at housing, we need to look at what our needs for our veterans here is, and we cannot leave any stone unturned, Karina and Tony, and I just think it's really, really, really important that at least we try, right? We never give up. How many times have we told this story? How many times do we keep trying? How many times do I keep? We fought so hard to try and get Uncle Sam's VA office. Come here, come to Guam. Hear our voices here. And yet we were still regimented in time and giving our nonprofits the opportunity to ask questions or speak, right? And I must say, Senator Boer and I continue to advocate for that. We're not going to stop, but this letter comes from me as a senator, as a sitting senator, and having all the captions of mother, grandmother, spouse, mother-in-law of veterans. What better way than for me to continue to advocate? And they always say timing is everything, but in this case, we have to continue to show, and we need to continue to get those numbers, because the differences of numbers between Guam and what's being recorded with the feds is completely different.
Which is a good segue into why 2025 is going to be proclaimed Year of the Veteran Registry, Year of the Veteran Count. We're going to get everyone involved to get our numbers up, because in your letter you put 24,000 is being reported by the GOVA office. Then almost 6,000 for Veterans Health. Those are the ones registered up at CBOC. And then 14,000 are those that are receiving benefits and compensation. So all those numbers are different. And so it's important that we get all those numbers aligned, or at least near to each other, so that we can request for these services. These numbers are not good. The 24,000 looks good, but then they're going to say, well, if there's 24, then why are only less than 6,000 using healthcare?
5,000. Was it 5,796 or 5,976 something?
Yes,
to
using
that effect.
healthcare.
I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I hope I'm not missing anybody on the show with you. I'm sorry I
No, just you, because we knew we were going to talk about a lot.
Yeah.
Before we get into all the stuff too, right? First, thank you, and thank you to Vince also. You know, you guys on the committee, right? Both of you are now in the legislature, or he's now in the legislature, and you've been there. And this is a way for us to continue to do the things that we need to do. What we've learned over time is that trying to talk bad or say negative things about others is not usually the best way to do it. And if you're ever in Congress and you hear them speak, right, they're often saying, to the good congressman or to the good senator, and it's always about being very cordial and trying to get the message across that is going to bring everyone together. And it appears that we have a new president. We still have the congressman there. We have Madeline Berdalio out there that represents us as a people of Guam. So all these folks need to be aligned all the way down. We have Sabrina now. We have Vince's vice. We have a new commission. All these folks that we're talking about are not all aligned necessarily. And if we can start doing that, it'll start working. And this year, that was exactly what we did. That's why we put that summit together with WestCare, Wounded Warrior, and MWR, because if no one else is going to bring them together, we're going to bring them together. So
that's right.
We need to bring everyone together. That's, I think, the biggest piece. But
I think, Tony, you hit the nail on the head. And like I said, we have over 32 nonprofit organizations as it relates to.
Senator, we're going to take a break. We're going to take a break real quick, mandatory break, and then we'll be right back. Just stay with us. We'll be right back.
Okay.
Hafaday kids, this is Kiko the Cocoa Bird inviting you to GVB's 2025 Kids Fun Run on Saturday, April 12th at the Ipao Beach Governor Joseph Flores Memorial Park in Tumon. Registration is only $10 and includes a t-shirt, finisher medal, and a morning full of fun games, activities, post-race refreshments, and much more. The Cocoa Kids Fun Run is open to kids all ages 4 to 12, so bring the whole family and enjoy a morning full of Hafaday spirit. Register online at visitguam.com today.
Listen to The Point anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Find your favorite stations like The Point and discover more. Music stations, local and trusted news sources, sports talk and team coverage, plus today's biggest podcasts. Find it all on the Odyssey app. AUDACY.
And we're back. Those watching us online, Joseph Connolly, Hafaday guys, Marsha Lujan, she says watching. Charlie Hermosa, hello guys, Semper Fi.
Charlie.
Ariel Amoto says, yes, madam. Cynthia Santos says, thank you for all you do for the veterans. And Ariel says, yes, you are correct, Tony, about speaking negatively. So back to what you were talking to, Senator. Yep,
yes,
go ahead.
Thank you, Karina. And, Tony hit the nail on the head. By working together, I always say our battle should not be here on Guam. We literally need to combine our efforts and our hearts as one team Guam to literally get our efforts out there. And, I was, when Senator Vince Bora and I were in Puerto Rico for our first advisory meeting, and I know a lot of times everything is so confined, right? So you can't say anything without approval with the designated field officer and all that. But if we don't come together as one team Guam and share our thoughts and get what is needed out there. When we were in Puerto Rico, I asked, what is it going to take for us to have a hospital exactly like you had? And the first thing the administrator said to me and said at that time was, Vice Speaker, data. You need compiled data. And I said, but the data is different from what he goes, no. If you want something done, you need to show that the data that you have, it justifies the means of what you're asking for. So I said, okay, if we wanted a hospital that could look at 24,000, the numbers are not jiving with what we have back there. We need to work together. And you guys coming together, you guys doing that summit, was it last week or the week before? I'm telling you, it needs more like that, because if we don't tell the story, and you know, every 2 years or every 4 years, right, there's a change of administration every 4 years. Every 2 years, there's a change in policy from even the House of Representatives, the Senate here on Guam, right? There, even if we're a unicameral, every 2 years, it could be the same senators or different. In this last term, we became, you know, there was a whole change and a shift in the majority leadership, but that doesn't mean that we can't work together. You know, we need to work together in order for us to get the veterans' concerns, because right now the biggest thing that we need to do as one Team Guam is making sure that if GOVA says we have 24,000 veterans, then we need to prove that we have 24,000 veterans out there, because the numbers from the federal component says we only have 5,700 somewhere, whatever that close number is, close to 6,000, which is not fair to Guam, because if you could acknowledge every DD-214 that's here on our island, I can honestly, I bet my life on it that it is more than 24,000.
And I think there's two other things that we want to talk about too, Senator, regarding you know, what's going on here on island. The GAO recently the GAO put out a report regarding the folks working on the bases that are civilians, and they were talking about having difficulty getting health care out here, and they're looking at getting them health care at the Naval Hospital. I mean, right now there exists an MOU that is really quite elusive, or we don't have it. You know, it exists, but nobody can see it, for example. And I think that's something we got to take care of. And we've been making the rounds, talking to a lot of the folks, right? So on top of doing the radio show, on top of meeting the veterans and taking care of their needs, we get phone calls every day, and we do the best we can with what we got, right? And right now what we got is what the veterans give us and what the business partners we have give us, and that's what we're making out of this. Now, end of the day, there are more things about why we need medical care here to be improved, right? And that's just one of it, the buildup, right? That's one. The other one is there is also this huge need for everyone on this island who's been exposed to Agent Orange to finally start receiving some sort of care. I mean, if they don't want to provide the funding, give them the care, because right now every person who was here on Guam from 1962 to 1980 is exposed to Agent Orange, and that number is far less than the Camp Lejeune folks. So what does that mean? If we can take money as a federal government and dump it into the folks from Camp Lejeune, and we still can't do that for a tiny little place like Guam, you know, maybe we need to start taking a look at, okay, you don't want to give these people money until half of them are dead, right? Then give them at least health care. Give them health care.
Again,
open it up.
Again, you're so right. That was the same story with those, to think that the first ones who got claims accepted, right, for their disability from Agent Orange were the ones who were stationed here on Guam, yet our own people here on Guam couldn't get those same benefits applied to them. So it really is different, and I know that as we continue to tell the story over and over and over, and having veterans continue to talk to you and continue to share the story, we cannot stop, because if we stop, then we will be failing our veterans.
That's right.
And like I said, I'm not a veteran. I know that there was a period of time where someone said, why Tina? She's not a veteran. She never went. She never enlisted. She never went. And I said, nope. But I'm a spouse of a veteran. I'm a mother of a veteran. I'm a grandmother of a veteran. I'm a mother-in-law of a veteran. I'm a mother of an active duty Air National Guardsman, and my brother-in-law. My sister-in-law is still active duty. My brother-in-law's retired. A couple of brother-in-laws. My nephew, who has gone through so much and still not at his 100% disability. My grandson, who just came back, who was not deployed. Well, they didn't call it deployed once, but twice to the outskirts of the Ukraine-Russia war, coming home and still not getting benefits he deserves, right? And having to go through that process. It is so frustrating, and
everybody,
and you don't have to go far.
Exactly.
So I said, let me start somewhere.
Yeah,
again.
And yes, you're right, Senator, right? And you, if any other organization is chasing you away or not willing to take you, I want everyone to know right now, if you want to help HMI, if you feel you don't have to be a veteran, if you want to come here, you don't have to be a specific type of veteran. We accept all veterans. We help all veterans that come to us and ask for help. We give them the help that we can give them. When they come here from, Korean War, Vietnam War, Gulf War, all of these folks come in, even during the peacetime, folks. We've helped them all the same. You don't have to be Purple Heart. You don't have to be any other version of what. You know what? We even help the people that come from no-name veteran group. We help those people. We met them. We met them because they exist here because everybody wanted a name, but yet they're not out there looking for these veterans. Well, guess what? We found them. We met up with them and we said hello to them. So everybody that wants to help needs to come and help, and we invite them. We encourage them to come see us.
I want you both to know that I had a constituent come up to me at Michelle's last week and literally was in tears to say thank you for telling him about the nonprofit organizations and the boot camps and wanting to go to Molesso for a boot camp but this veteran was in tears because he said for years he's been saying, and his wife has been saying, please, let's go do this, only to get denied. But yet he came and said, I finally took your advice. I said, took my advice. He goes, to go see Karina and Anthony and to see the nonprofit organization in HMI and know that they're really going to try to help. For that veteran to come to tears and saying, thank you for helping make a difference. I said, thank the nonprofit organization HMI for the work that they continue to do for all veterans. And I said, and I'm not going to stop here. Anybody who calls my office, I don't pretend to be an expert on any of the veteran issues because I'm not. But God has given me a gift of facilitating, and I can say that I'm a good facilitator and bringing these veterans to experts who understand the process, who can help assist these veterans, who can work even with GOVA, even with all the other nonprofit organizations out there. Thank you for what you do to help and we can help one veteran at a time. We're going to do it.
Yes.
And I know I have to go back to class.
Okay.
Thank you, Senator. Thank you for calling in.
Yeah.
And thank you so very much. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to share with you the letter. I do have a tickler on this for at least 2 weeks, and if I don't hear from them, I will do a second and third request until I get an answer, and we'll continue to advocate for this program. Thank you.
Thank you.
And we'll be with you, Rob, after this break.
Yes.
KFC's Lent menu is filled with so many seafood options, it's enough to keep you going for the entire Lenten season. They're all here. Popcorn shrimp, fish wraps, fish fillets, shrimp and crab Killiquin wraps, and our famous KFC shrimp burger. Mix and match chicken and fish in both 6 and 12-piece family meals with sides and biscuits. And for dessert, you have to try my apple pie poppers. KFC's Lent menu is available for a limited time at all KFC restaurants and for delivery at kfcguam.com or WhatsApp 300-3278. KFC, it's finger-licking good for Lent.
Stay cool all year round by checking out Johnstone Supply for your HVAC and refrigeration needs. Located at 170 Guerrero Drive on Picanel Road in Tamuning, call Johnstone Supply today at 671-649-0581. That's 671-649-0581. Open 8 a.m. to noon and 1 to 5 p.m. Monday to Friday. Open Saturdays from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. and closed on Sundays. Stay cool with Johnstone Supply.
And we're back. We're going to read a few of those that are joining us online on Facebook. So if you're not following The Point on Facebook and you're listening to us, follow The Point on Facebook and you get all the notifications whenever Ray goes live or anyone goes live on The Point. So who do we have? I think I read that one. Oh, Joseph Ramos, Evening HMI team and veterans, and Vincent Santos, Sendanku na si Zeus Maasi, Zan si Zeus un Benedici?
Benedici, yes.
Benedici. Okay, I said that right. Thank you to the senator for calling in. So we have 2 letters, and we'll send those out through all of our chats. So she wrote a letter talking about having the need to have a state director here in Guam, and the need for decisions to come here from Guam. And some of the issues that veterans are dealing with today is not having a dedicated line for Guam veterans. Sure, the 475 number works, but if all the lines are busy, it goes straight to Hawaii and sometimes to California when it's Guam time. We don't want to talk to anyone in California. We want to talk to someone here at the CBOC. So that's one of the things. And then healthcare, and then travel. That's been a big struggle. And then facilities. And we won't get all of those if veterans don't register, because we need the numbers to go up. So before we get the call, I know we have a caller. I do want to tell everyone that we have boot camp this week, April 8, 9, and 10, Molesto Senior Citizen Center, 5:30 to 8:30 p.m. And for everyone that's listening, call in, send a message write a message, jump on the chat, jump on Facebook, and wish Anthony Tyron here happy birthday. I'm not telling you what day it is this week, but it is this week. He's going to be mad. Jose, look at him. He's shaking his head. His birthday's this week.
Don't get mad. You're just getting old.
He's looking at him, buy him a birthday hat to wear on air. Or what are those noise makers? He's getting mad.
Jose, are you part of this? All right. So
I wanted to just talk about those things. Oh, he's going to sing Mr. President. Right? Isn't he president?
Excuse me, ma'am. Can we get on with the show, please?
Fine. Okay.
So we got all these events coming up. We got a lot of good things going on.
And then we have the Year of the Veteran Count, April 18, 1:30 p.m.
Yeah, we still got a little time for that, right? Or
yes.
Okay.
I think one more show. One more show?
Right.
One more show, yes.
All right.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
What else do we got?
And
we're going to go get Rob right now. Mm-hmm. Are you still there, Rob?
I am. How are you?
Oh, man. Thank you for calling in. How can we help you, good sir?
Well, first of all, I wanted to say thank you guys for honoring the fallen. I really appreciate you all acknowledging PFC, Taitano, and also our own Bob Kletsky. So thank you for honoring those folks and their service.
So let's talk about you now.
So I want to do a special shout out to you all, the entire team, but a special shout out to Jose back there in the production booth. Thank you for the hookup with Ray. I was with him this morning.
Very good.
That show went really, really well. So thank you. I will tell you from the time that I've met you, you all have gone out of your way to help me along, and I just really appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome anytime, and you're one of the good guys there, Rob. So we'll keep taking care of you. You are a veteran too, so you make yourself at home here, and you make everyone around you feel like this is your home, and you take care of them just like you're part of the family. So we sincerely appreciate that, and you do great things out there trying to get things going with our veterans, and you support us quite a bit, and we want to keep that going. So thank you also for your part.
And congratulations on your podcast.
Yeah, we talked about it.
Thank you.
Yes.
Good job.
Thank you.
All right. Now, how much did Charlie pay you to be the first first one on. Because you know, I was under the impression that I might have been the first guy, but it looks like Charlie must have paid you something. I'm sorry.
Well, that's okay. You know, and Rob Anthony said, I was waiting to listen to if they were saying they're going to say veterans. And he goes, they finally said it towards the end. And I said, well, they should have led with that. You know, they should have led with that. We have a comment online from Marvin Zeki. Great comment, Senator Barnes. Veterans looking out. Veterans, hip, hip, hooray. HMI, thank you. And then Monica Thomas, do you guys have any pre-recorded programs that people can listen to when you're not live? Yes, Monica, you can listen to us on YouTube. All the shows are on YouTube. I'll share the link. And then also on The Point, you can catch us. We're here every Monday. It's already been a year. So any veteran, you have a whole year worth of shows to listen to us. We just started doing the tip of the week, veteran question of the week. But we've always been doing veteran of the week. Right, Anthony?
Yeah, that's correct. Yes. So, Rob, anything else you wanted to touch on? We got like 2 minutes, 3 minutes. Tell us a little bit more about what's going on with you.
No, again, I just appreciate you all's support. Like you said, the podcast came out last night. The PDN article dropped on Friday.
I saw that.
The next podcast will drop next Monday. And you can kind of expect that every Monday I'll be dropping a new podcast.
Oh, man.
That's great.
You're going to be a busy man.
Yes. And then Monica Thomas says, happy birthday, Tony.
Oh.
Charlie Hermosa says, hey. I think that means, why didn't you tell me it's your birthday?
Oh, no. About the money, I think.
Money?
He paid Rob to go on first. Dang it.
So he's saying, stop picking on me.
Anyway, yeah, good stuff there, Rob. And then, you know, all the innovation and technology that you talk about, right? You know, just so you know, right, you've been around the clinic and we've already started, you know, using AI. As a matter of fact, we've kind of grown with AI over the past 2 years, watching it grow and helping it help our veterans. And that's kind of what we've been leaning on to help us help our veterans get the things that they need. And by the way, I think the VA also uses AI. So
they do. Ask VA is AI.
There you go.
Yes, they do.
So we're moving into your realm there, Rob, so you need to take care of us.
Absolutely.
All right. So we'll be leaning on both you and Charlie on that. And I think we got you guys on the GSAT also. So, you know, if there's anything there, you can reach out to Leah. I think we're about to start closing down. So thank you for calling in. We appreciate you. And we'll keep looking out for the podcast and your articles, okay?
All right. Thank you.
All right.
Thanks, Rob. Thank you, everyone. We'll see you next week. And don't forget, send Anthony a message for his birthday this week. Happy birthday.
I'm canceling my birthday.
You cannot, right, Jose?
Absolutely
he can't.
not.
He cannot.
The Point is KUSG, Hagåtña, Guam, 93.3 FM and 104.3 HD3.
Bracing for a red Monday. I'm Sue Guzman, Fox News. President Trump says that tariffs are pressuring other countries to negotiate with him.
I spoke to a lot of leaders, European, Asian, from all over the world. They're dying to make a deal. But I said, we're not going to have deficits with your country.
Asian markets plunging today following Thursday and Friday's market plunge on Wall Street. Fox's Ashley Strohmeyer has more.
The uncertainty comes amid President Trump's rollout of high tariff rates on most U.S. trading partners. Japan's benchmark Nikkei falling